Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Now, let me go over in this webinar, we will go over three things. The most common buyer mistakes we see, what is the home buying process in Texas look like, and what is the current Houston market. Again, buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. So let me ask you before I start this webinar, how are you guys feeling? Are you feeling concerned, stressed out? Are you anxious about the home buying process? I hope by the end of this webinar, my goal for you is to have a clear, confident plan and to feel in control and at peace of mind. And by the end of this webinar, you should be able to say, I know exactly what I'm doing and what it takes to buy a home. So, what's important is to understand the breakdown, understand the process. Don't skip any steps. There's a process to the madness. So, my name is Prateek Verma. I am with the Bridge Group team. Last year, we closed 343 homes. That's like one home a day. So we've helped a lot of families. I was rewarded top 20 under 40 by HAR, so truly honored by that. And what it tells us is that we have the reps to guide you, especially in this market where there's so much uncertainty. So some of the mistakes, common ones, which we've seen is buyers feel that they need a big down payment in order to move forward with the home buying process, which is actually not true. You don't need a big chunk. There are programs, there are down payment assistance programs, and these are programs which vary from like city, county, state, or at federal level. And that's where we bring in a loan officer who can guide us which would be the best program for you. Next thing is when you're buying new construction, there are builder buy rate buy downs. You just need to know how to ask for it, or you need to have someone on your side who can negotiate for you and get you a good deal. What is a good deal? A good deal is to not only price but make sure the whole package is set up in such a way that your monthly costs are great. You can handle that, and you understand the process as well. You negotiate. So in this market, if you're buying a resale home, sales price is just one blank to negotiate on. There are so many other blanks to negotiate. So, for example, you can get seller concessions, and that can help you buy down your interest rate. Right now, the interest rates are about 6.5 to 6.8. With some seller concessions, you can use that to buy down the rate or use it towards closing cost. So that helps you in resale homes. And if you want to get more creative, there are owner financing options available also. So these are some common things which we've seen. Again, if you're joining the live right now, I'm going over the three common things which we see is some common mistakes which people make. What is the home buying process in Texas, and what is the current Houston market? So we went over the down payment assistance program that's available to you. There are builder rate buy downs for new construction. If you're buying a resale home, say apart from sales price, you can ask for seller concessions, and that helps you to buy down the rate and help you with closing cost. So next thing is what we see is before even we start looking at homes, and I'm guilty of this as well. Scrolling on Zillow, just start searching already without even following step one. So don't start your home search that way. Just don't hop on the app and start looking for homes. Step one is to set up a buyer consultation. Before you even go through the entire process, I want you to sit down with a professional, understand someone who can break down the entire buying process. So schedule that. Second most important thing is talk to a lender and see what is your buying power. If you're using cash or if you're using a loan product, still it's always good to understand what's, the loan officer will go over your debt to income ratio and guide you. This is the price range. If you're wanting a certain monthly payment, this is the price range you want to stay within, and what are the interest rate and how we can negotiate. Now once you do that consultation, you sit down with the lender, understand what your buying process and buying power is, then you establish your criteria. What is your must have and what are your deal breakers? I talk to all my buyer clients and explain them that when you're buying a home, 80% of the things are your criteria, your must-haves, your deal breakers. There are 10% of things which you can change. And then the last remaining 10%, these are things you can't change and you just have to live with. So if you're in that score of like 8 out of 10, that's a good deal. You found that home which, you should move forward with. Now in Texas, what I tell all my buyers is there are 36 steps of buying a home. Now, we don't have to go through all those 36 steps right now, but we've boiled it down to simple 6, 7 steps. And the first thing is to have that consultation with your agent. Just understand the process. Ask him or her to break down the entire scenario. Then getting a pre approval with your lender, figuring out what is your criteria, what is your search portal setup like, what are your must haves, what are your deal breakers, and then start showings. Now, the most important part is when you find that home and when you are about to put that offer, before you even make that offer, you need to run a CMA. A CMA is a comparative market analysis where we look at the house you're buying. We look at if it's a two-story home, we will see what other two stories home have sold in that subdivision at what price, because we don't want you to overpay for your home. We want you to get the best deal, and that's why we run that CMA. So before you're like, hey Prateek, I want to put an offer, I'll stop you. I'll be like, let's run an analysis and see what is the best strategy we can get or we can start with. Then we negotiate with the sellers. Sales price, closing costs, option period, and then the length. You need 30 days, 35 days, you need a lease back. These are some negotiating terms which is important. Once the seller and the buyer signs, you are under contract, and that's called an executed document. So that week one is very important because within that first week, people think that down payment is the only cost which you have to put down, which is your 5%, 3%, or 20%. No, during that week one, there is earnest money, which is 1% of the sales price, and then option fee. Option fee gives you the ability to inspect the homes. You hire an inspector who will check the entire house. It will be a 60-page report. So you need a professional to guide you to go through the report. Not every point is negotiable on that. If there are any cosmetic repairs, you can't really negotiate on that. Something good factors to negotiate on are foundation, roof, electric, plumbing, and HVAC. Roof, foundation, and HVAC are the biggest cost. So these are the things you should negotiate on. And once you're under contract, it's very important that, for option fee, it can vary between 250 to $300. Earnest money is about 1% of the sales price, and the inspector, they charge about $500 to $600 as well. In week two, if you're using a loan product, then the house needs to meet appraisal value. And if there is no existing survey, then your lender will ask you to order a survey as well. And then HOA documents. If that house is an HOA, you have to order HOA documents. Title company, lender, they help you with that. And then finally, at the end of it, you need your funds to close, which is in 30 to 35 days. Now, finding a dream home, it feels magical, but negotiation is the most important part. And some things which you can negotiate on are these 5 things when you're under contract is like foundation, roof, electric, plumbing, HVAC. And during the process, there might be roadblocks. You might run into title issues. You might run into some appraisal issues, survey issues. And that's where you need someone who has the reps and can guide you through that process. Now, many buyers, they don't realize like how much can go wrong without experienced professionals. So what it tells me is like in 2025, if we look at the numbers, there were 71% agents who did 0 deals. And that's about like 900,000 agents in North America. There are about 86% agents who did only 4 deals, and that shows like it's a market where you need to understand who has done the reps, work with them, understand who knows the process in and out. Now, all this working with a professional can really save you a lot of extra stress and extra cash. So again, if you're putting an offer, the first thing to do is run a CMA, have your agent run that CMA, understand what is the history of that home, when was it sold at, what is the best strategy we can present and offer in. And only a skilled professional can do that. So the good thing with us is there's a whole team behind every transaction. We have transaction coordinators which help us throughout, and that's where we come in. My job is to help you negotiate the deal, understand the home buying process. So overall, how are you guys feeling right now? Are you feeling less concerned, less stressed out, less anxious, like just understanding what the home buying process looks like? So now let's look at what the Houston market is doing right now. Interest rates, they are between 6.5 to 6.8 percent right now. With When you're negotiating for a home, you can always ask for seller concessions, buy down that rate, and bring your monthly payment to a minimum that way. But if you ask me, Prateek, what's happening in the Houston market right now? The June numbers were recently released, and year over year, sales which are under contract, these are homes which have gone under contract, they are up 12%. So that means this is an active market. Yes, listings are taking time to sell. The average is about 52 days in Houston, and but the market has stabilized, and the median price in Houston is about 345 if we just look at June numbers. And inventory monthly supply is about 5 months of supply is what we have. So overall, home sales are increasing, and that shows me that this is still an active buyer's market. Buyers have time, they have a lot of inventory to choose from. But if something is priced well, I have seen multiple offers in this situation, also in this market also. So just to give you a recap, what happens when you go under contract? Before even starting the home buying process, don't go on Zillow and start scrolling for homes. First thing you need to do is set up a buyer consultation, connect with the lender, talk about your must haves, your deal breakers, and then go from there. Once you find a home and you want to make an offer, don't make an offer right away. First, ask for a CMA, a comparative market analysis, which will help you break down the home, understand the finances of the home, and negotiate. Sales price is just one blank. There are so many other blanks you can negotiate on. So make sure to do that and put a strategic offer, present a strong offer, and you will be successful. So if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're an investor, anything, if you're buying in Texas, it's a simple 36-step process, which we've boiled down to a simple 7-step process. And working with a professional who will guide you is always helpful. So that week one, when you present an offer, you need earnest money, option fee. Option period can be about 7 to 10 days. There is home inspection cost, appraisal cost, survey cost. So you see, with the just apart from down payment, there is so much cost. Upfront is about $3,500 to $4,000 if we take an average price of 400K or 345K. So these are costs which nobody thinks of, and that's why I would highly recommend, if you've thought about buying in Texas, sit down with someone and sit down with an agent, reach out to us, and we'll break down the real life transaction in front of you, what it feels like to buy in Texas. So if you have any questions about the home buying process, what are some other common mistakes we've seen people make, and what is the market doing right now, reach out to us. I hope you're feeling less stressed now, knowing what the process looks like. And by the end of this webinar, if you registered, I'll be sending you a buyer guide and a vendor list as well. So your job is simply to tell us what you really want, and then let us worry about it. Buying in Texas, it's a fun process. There are roadblocks, and that's why you need a professional with you. I hope this short webinar was helpful to you, just to understand the buying process. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My name is Prateek Verma. Thank you.